myself Sunil Ramakrishna. This is basically the 38th number part of the PHP Introduction. Sorry, PHP basically. Square root basically round is there. It will round the data basically. Nothing else is random number basically. Random number means random is some function basically. It gives the random number basically. So once one of the person told that yeah, random means up to what level random basically. Up to what level means until basically the browser is open, whatever session basically is available in the random function database. It might be having 1 crore date, 1 crore random number, 2 crore random number, 3 crore. Might be possible basically because we exactly don't know basically because random function is created by PHP and they basically never gives the secret basically because random numbers are also basically nowadays very dangerous basically. That's why basically because from there also basically lots of information basically can be collected. So the PHP basically never gives the information of the random function basically, but it gives the random number. One number, sometime it gives 100 numbers, sometime it gives 1 lakh, 2 lakh. I'm just taking as an example basically, because I random number can be anything. So here basically I'm just taking as a rough number basically of the random basically function. One of the percent of the PHP constants basically are likely variables accepted that once they are defined, they can't be changed or undefined basically. Constants basically. One of the person told that constants, what is constant? Static, this also thing. Once declared basically, it has declared basically. This basically can't be changed. Otherwise basically don't declare as a constant basically. One of the person told that basically some forget that this variable was not supposed to be as a constant. So you have to change that constant. But so one of the person can we basically change the constant variable in runtime basically as some other dynamic data. So that is not possible basically. Once you have defined the programming basically. So one of the person told that is it possible basically? So one of the person told that that means you want to change the code basically. You want to change the code in the server basically. That is not possible yaar. One of the person told that ये क्या possible yaar? One of the person basically asked the question basically. So ये possible है basically. One of them basically people will not do the programming basically. One of the person basically told that also basically. People will stop programming. They will say that basically user controls are available, WordPress is available. Then who will do the WordPress also basically is very dangerous basically. Everything, anything basically have positive and each and everything basically which you create that have negative part and positive part basically. See the constants basically. These all are the constants basically. This can't be changed. See this. Constant basically. See basically. Constant array basically is also there. Here are the magical constant description and example. These all are ready-made constants basically available in the market. If used inside the class, where the class name is written. So one of the person basically told I basically written many classes in my programming basically. But sometimes basically I want to debug basically which class basically is getting executed, which class basically executed at what time. So they basically in simple basically he want to debug the stuff basically. So one person told that you can basically write something, print hello world into that class. That is not possible. But the classes are more than 100 basically. Then basically one person told that I have written print hello world in that class. But same hello world basically I have written in another class also. So I have to track that everything basically. What I have written into the print basically, into the echo basically. So that basically is very difficult basically. Because it's a more this type of thing basically constants are used into the big level of programming basically. In one or two classes basically if you are writing, there basically this type of constants basically are not required basically. But if you are doing 100 class, you are creating 100 class, 200 classes, 300 classes, that time basically this is required basically. But if you are doing this type of programming, that means you are basically doing very high level programming. So debug also basically you have to keep basically always. So see basically class name basically it will return directory of the files, path, this, that, function name, line, at what line basically you have reached, you have written something basically somewhere in the function basically this will echo this. So it will give the exact line of that particular file basically. One of the person told that it will give, for example, this will give the exact line number of the file, or basically it will, for example, there are hundreds of includes available, and this basically is written in the third or fourth include basically. So what it will give the basically. So few people told that yeah, वो तो check करना पड़ेगा. So mostly basically it will give the return the line number of the file. So these all are the internally PHP defined. Who the group who designed the PHP, they have designed the namespace. Now the PHP operators. Operator itself basically says lots of things, right? One of the person told that, yeah, basically, when I am drinking water from normal plastic, my body basically reacts something basically. When basically drink water from Milton basically, it basically connects to different topic basically. When I am basically using cello basically water bottle basically, my body basically reacts totally different basically. So one of the person told that he said, "क्या है यार?" So one of the person told that this is basically the data use basically. One of the person basically uses the database. In this basically the government plays the very dangerous role basically. Who are sitting at the Gandhinagar and Parliament House basically. You will not able to believe it basically. How they use the data of in this basically company basically says हमको तो कुछ पता ही नहीं. We don't know anything basically that governments are using our data like this. Then one of the person told that ये सब government के तो आदमी हैं who are basically into the company creation basically. That also is possible. They basically takes the entire group into their area basically. So that basically in future basically anybody uh, any war will start basically. Then basically they don't have to worry about this company's group basically. Why? Because it's internal group basically. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic.